Abdul Malik swims to earn his living, but he is not an athlete. At 9 AM every weekday, he wades through neck-high water with a tire tube around his waist, holding his shoes in one hand above the muddy river. This is what it takes Mr. Malik, a 40-year-old teacher, to get to the primary school in a village in Kerala, but he says seeing the eyes of his students makes it totally worth it. Hi everyone, today we are going to tell you about 10 moments that'll restore your faith in humanity. A train company has been stopping at a remote station for the past 3 years to pick up just one passenger. The company had initially planned to shut down the train station, which was almost unused, in 2012 due to its remote location. After investigating, it found that the line was used every day by the young girl, so the company committed to pick her up so she could go to school and come back home every day. Trains stop at the station based on the schoolgirl's timetable and pass by when she is on holiday or her classes are off. The station was closed permanently after the girl graduated from high school at the end of March 2016. Hilary Barrows, 57, returned to Kent in January after 8 years living and working as an English teacher across Europe. She went into privately rented accommodation thinking she would soon find work, but failed to find a job and ran out of money after 3 weeks. She couldn't count on priority for housing because she was out of the country so long. However, she was offered emergency council accommodation, on the condition that she gave up her 2 dogs Robbie and Cleo, but she refused to abandon the mutts that she had rescued on her European travels and was left with only her 20-year-old Alfa Romeo for shelter, eating and sleeping there with their dogs. She went to McDonald's to charge her phone and laptop so she could keep searching for work. At one point, she decided to start a crowdfunding campaign where generous people with kind hearts helped her gather over $15,000 so she could pay the deposit and rent an apartment. Dominique Harrison Benson, a master's student, had lost her bank card, but only realized when she went to get money for a cab. After some time of futile search, a homeless man approached her with $3, the only money he had. He insisted she take it to pay for a taxi to make sure she got home safe. Miss Harrison Benson raised money for Robbie, the big-hearted homeless, to rent a flat by spending 24 hours on the streets with him. A homeless man without a shirt was going in an almost empty wagon of NY Metro when a stranger witnessed maybe the most heartwarming scene in a month. A young man approached the homeless, took off his shirt and put it on his shivering body. After that, he gave him his wool cap and asked if he needed medical help. The homeless man confirmed it, and they left the wagon together a few stops later. This story sounds like the plot of a Disney cartoon. Mr. G the goat and Jelly Bean the donkey were separated after welfare officers seized the animals, as they were living in atrocious conditions. Despite being rescued at the same time, these 2 friends were sent to different sanctuaries, much to the disgust of the goat. Mr. G spent 6 days in the corner of his new pen, refusing to eat even the most tempting treats. The 10-year-old goat was depressed. Desperate to make him happier, the staff decided to track down Jellybean. One of the staff embarked on a 14-hour round trip to bring the donkey to the sanctuary and reunite the old friends. Within minutes of being reunited, Mr. G is back to his old self and even eats for the first time in 6 days, from the same bowl with his old friend. A few years back in India, the passengers of a passing train convinced the driver to stop in order to save a young elephant that had slipped from a railway embankment and got trapped in collapsed ground. The train stopped and passengers disembarked to help the animal out of its predicament. Although the elephant was frightened by its fall, it had not injured itself and happily escaped to his mother. Police officer Gaetano Acera reached out to Cameron Simmons, 13, after he called police following a fight with his mother. Acera learned Simmons suffered from back pain because he slept on an air mattress that deflated during the night and had almost no other bedroom furniture at all. At the moment, Acera didn't tell the boy anything, but after a few weeks returned with a bed, a desk, a chair, a television, and even a game system that someone had donated after hearing the story. Acera plans to come back in the future with more furniture. He also gave the kid something far more important: friendship. Despite having lost both his arms in an accident when he was very young, Chinese farmer Chen Xingyin has not allowed his disability to stop him from working hard and living a normal life. Using his extremely agile legs and feet, he takes care of plants and animals, as well as cooks for himself and his 91-year-old mother. When it's mealtime, he gives her food, holding the spoon with his mouth. A young male lion caught in a snare which slowly tightened around its neck as he grew older has been saved after a rescue operation was launched. The lion was first spotted trapped in the snare in Mikumi National Park in Tanzania back in 2009, but several attempts to rescue him failed. After 3 years, the cord had become so tightly wrapped around the lion's neck that he was left unable to hunt, and his gaping wound attracted flies and infection. The young animal would soon have been lying in agony in the African bush, facing certain death, if not for an operation to sedate him and cut away the electrical wire snare. The rescue ended a 3-year hell for the lion. As he grew over the last 3 years, the wire snare got tighter and tighter around his neck and was leading to a slow, agonizing death. By the time he was found, he was so weak that he was unable to hunt, but amazingly, he was being kept alive by the love of his brothers and sisters and his pride. They didn't kill him, as often is the fate of weak male lions, but instead, the siblings in the pride kept him alive by bringing him back prey they had hunted. The pride members kept protecting their injured relatives, even when help arrived. They were so eager to attack the vet team that they had to use jeeps to scare the furious lions and get to the sedated male. Rangers believe he had got caught in a snare, which poachers usually use for illegal trapping smaller game animals like impala. The lion has now been photographed in the wild for the first time since his ordeal, and appears to be recovering with his mane growing back over his neck and shoulders. Do good and good will get back to you. See you soon.